Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Ethel. We're here to learn and grow together. I've got a very special guest today. Her name is Krisztina Kapuvari. Krisztina is the CEO and founder of theSPACE. She's here to give us tips on starting a business and how to grow a business. As Krisztina is the CEO of an NGO, she's supported a few businesses in their incubation period. If you've got any questions in regards to support for your business or help growing it, please leave it in the comments and Krisztina will help you. She's been one of the highlights as well on my journey because she always has tips and she's very talented. How does a regular person set up an NGO?
Yes, so I'm just gonna focus on setting up any type of business or projects because it's kind of like the same thing. Usually start with discovering a problem on the market, like something maybe bugs you, annoys you in your everyday life. Like, why is it always like this? Like, it should be different, it should be better, it should be, I could do it better. So that's kind of like a hint for you, like look into that problem a bit more, research it, understand it a bit better, and then you can come up with some solutions. Once you have a solution, you need to build it out, like, okay, how that solution going to be working? What is my business model? How it's going to make money? How it's going to, produce value for the customers? And who are my customers? Like, all these questions will pop up. But the main point is that you actually need to be internally motivated to solve that problem. If you are not enjoying and loving what you're doing, it's gonna die. It's not gonna be sustainable because you're gonna put in a lot of effort. You need to actually put in a lot of effort, especially in the beginning. When people start businesses after, I think there's a statistic called, I think it's about out of 10 businesses, within 2 years, only 1 or 2 survives. Because it's just so tough, it's not easy. So yeah, how you start a business is technically just discovering something which is a problem in the world, which needs solution, having some background, some competencies, some skills you already have, which could actually provide a solution, something you love, that's the third one, and the fourth one, which is where the business starts, figuring out how it makes money.
Talking about figuring out how it makes money, because yours is an NGO, which is a charity set up in Africa, how do you fund it?
Yeah.
Because it's non-profit.
Yeah. The main sources of income we have is donations. So we have different sources of donations. The first one we received when I was just contemplating the idea. I wasn't even yet started. Because I just built up myself in the beginning. I had the idea, I had the problem, understanding of the problem. I had the background because I studied business and management my whole life since I was 14. So I had the competencies. I had the network in Benin. I had the solution, but I didn't have the confidence. So when I built that up, it was through someone who, listened to me. It was just a dinner. We were sitting together. I'm super passionate about African entrepreneurs, African young people. And I was just telling him about it, how wonderful everybody's there doing their business. In my country, as I studied business, in my year, we were like 80 people. Only 5 of us actually started a business, and we studied business.
So what country are you from?
I'm from Hungary, sorry, I didn't mention that. So I'm from Hungary, and in my school, when I studied business, just a few of us actually started a business. But when I went to when I went to Ghana and Benin and all those countries, I realized that majority of the people actually has already started a sort of business or wants to start. It's their ambition. And for me, it was really inspiring. It was a new way of looking at things, a fresh way of looking at things, and I knew that, okay, I need to do something here. Okay, so how did I fund my NGO? It comes back to somebody listening to the story I'm telling and saying, here is €5,000. We just had a regular dinner, I was just telling the story, like what I experienced on my own skin, and what is the solution I think I can bring in. And the person called me aside end of the dinner and said, okay, here is 5,000 euro. And just hearing that, like somebody believes in me and actually wants to invest in it, that's kick-started the whole thing. Within 3 months, I was actually in Benin renting out the office place. So just to give you a timeline on the whole situation, in 2014 I met with the problem, in 2017 I met with the solution, and in 2019 that's when I had this experience, and by around April and by August I was renting out the place and starting it. So I contemplated a lot, like I had to build up my own courage and my own self-confidence, and when somebody told me I actually believe in you enough to put money in it, that was the final push. We also make money by external services like selling the office for renting it. We also have some partners because the innovation sector is not yet built up fully. So the Belgian development agency called Annabelle is coming in to educate the public, educate the innovation sector stakeholders like incubators, accelerators, investors, to make it stronger. So they do run some projects. They have funded our last project, which called Reveal Her Potential. It ran from January till May. We had 20 girls, and they were university students, and we helped them start businesses. We had a pitch competition in the end. I managed to pull in some international investments into equities. So a Swiss investment company called Lily Capital had put in some money as well, not into my NGO, but into the businesses who won the competition, who we built up from idea to actual product within 3 months. And other sources of funding, like there is a partner called MTN. MTN is one of the biggest mobile network provider. So we just run a project with them as well for disabled people. So we helped 30 young disabled people in Benin to actually start a business. So they received the money. So there are different sources of funding, but the major one is individual donations. So I had managed to have within 2 years 200 people donate to us, either one time or repeatedly. So we have a Patreon account, it's called theSPACE NGO, and if you go there you can find different ways to just a price of a coffee, you can promote us and support us, and that would actually help with providing access to our office for one business for a month, like a price of a coffee. So this is how affordable we are. By the way, I just wanted to quickly mention what we do is business incubation. Do you know what is business incubation? Have you heard of it before?
Yes, but can you explain to the audience? I'm sure they would love to hear.
Yeah, business incubator is, I'm gonna use an example. So if a baby born premature, that baby has certain functions which are not fully developed in their body, so they need an incubator to be placed at to take over those functions. So this is the same thing with the business incubator. Until the baby gets strong, they stay in an incubator. That's the same thing with the business incubator. Businesses, when they start, they don't have access to resources. It's usually a one-man show. There is no other employees, so there are so many needs for certain functions to be taken off their shoulders. So this is what we do. We take off certain functions so they can just focus on what they need to actually do, which is producing the value. They don't need to focus on marketing too much because we have a service. They don't need to focus on managing an office because we do that for them. We don't need to focus, even at one point we are planning to roll out accounting services for them. So they don't need to deal with all these other stuff which are really heavy on human resource and finance, like a lot of money needs to go into it, is it? So that's what we do, a business incubator.
Yeah, listening to everything you've said, it's really inspiring. So what advice would you give to anyone out there? I know you've talked about setting up a business, but what advice would you give to someone out there who's struggling to set up a business? That's
a really good question, because a lot of people, they have great ideas. To be fair, I think every single person has great ideas, like how they could do a business, what type of solutions they can bring to the world. But not everybody is an entrepreneur. Some people come up with great ideas, but they would never actually go into executing them and bringing them to the world. Those ideas live in their brain. And one of the main advice I can give to you, if you are that type of person who likes coming up with fresh ideas, is that your idea will not benefit anyone if it lives in your head. You need to bring it out to the world, and because you can't deprive people from the solution, the value you are about to create. You need to get it out of your brain. So even if you find just a little small way of it, you don't need to start in because usually the ideas come in and they are super complex and requires a lot of funding and money and building. You need to roll it back into the simplest form of it, which still does similar value to the customer, but is not the full-blown service. You need to focus on one single thing, the simplest step, and then roll that out. For instance, with my NGO, we started with actually having the location. We didn't start with coaching, consulting, services, etc., etc. It was keep adding on top of it. So in the very beginning, we kind of We kind of made the skeleton of it. The meat was, it just come later on. Does it make sense? So we started with a very basic, just have a place to sit, have the furniture there, have the internet running, and then all that thing, the rest of it just come after it. And people struggle to focus. That's the main issue. So just focus on your first step of your idea, baby steps. You don't need to go full into the most high quality, perfect solution ever. You need to just start, and as you roll, it will get bigger and bigger, like a snowball.
Yeah, thank you. As you mentioned earlier, your NGO is called theSPACE. So are you looking to expand it in other countries in Africa? Because I'm sure there'll be other countries with entrepreneurs that are in the incubation stage that would need some support.
The main vision behind it is to change the business sector, and we really want to enroll this program into other countries as well. It's affordable. We don't charge crazy amounts of money. Our sole focus is social impact. We want to impact the business sector. We want to create socially sensitive business leaders who will make decisions for the betterment of humankind, not because they want to make profit. Obviously, profit is part of it. Obviously, they need to make money. But the main point is that once they have the influence, once they are invited to certain tables, because they become global, they're not going to make a decision that would have a negative impact on society. They would be conscious. And we want these businesses from Africa to create wealth locally. That's what we really like. That's the desire behind theSPACE, and we want to help them to get there. And in the beginning, they need a lot of help. So our main focus is impact, find a way how we can support the whole continent, because that's the main goal and mission behind, yeah.
I think it's really beautiful what you do, especially with entrepreneurs, because I know there is a high statistic of unemployment in some countries in Africa. So being able to help people with ideas, especially bring that to life, is really good.
Yeah.
So what kind of, in regards to working with them, what other support do you think they need?
Yes. I think the main challenge in the African entrepreneurship and business sector is actually channeling in the investments from the global platform. There needs to be a solution which is beneficial for everyone, and that needs to come from within Africa.
Thank you, Krisztina, for coming today.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. And I feel like we haven't been able to cover everything due to time. And I know you've got a lot of tips, and I can tell how talented you are, with all the things you do and all the support you give to businesses, ranging from just helping them with research. And I know all the companies you've helped as well, it's been different skill set. So everyone, if you would like help from Krisztina, please comment below. If you'd like some advice in regards to a company that you're thinking of in Africa, or if you just have a company that you just need some advice, or you just feel that you need some motivation, Krisztina is the one. So if you could please comment below, and I can't wait for us to have her here again. So her NGO is theSPACE. You can go and have a read and detailed information about it as well. And we look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and share with your family and friends. We're here to learn and grow together.